I'm sorry that I was not able to have a stream yesterday. Hold on, let me fix my camera there. Yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't able to have a stream yesterday. Something came up, but there will be 3 stream. You guys, oh, there's an echo? How about now? Is it better now? Yay, sorry about that. I think it's a little messed up. I thought it was messed up. All right, but anyway, thank you so much. I missed you guys very much. To make it up to you, I have a little bit of tea for you. I can tell you that next week, I'm sorry you're having a horrible day, Ben. I hope I can cheer you up a little bit. But I can tell you that next week there should be Venom and Alien trailers. So, we will be eating good next week. I'm excited. Some of them as early as Monday. But it'll be good times. Very, very good times. All right, so even though it's Wednesday, this is the first stream of the week. So, time for me to gift 5 memberships. Because you guys are always so nice. You guys are gifting memberships. Here come mine. There we go. The start of every week, I gift 5 memberships. Aw, hey Nintendo, I love you too. All right, thanks Beyond the Trailer. You're welcome. Oh, thank you, Drago. There will be 3 streams this week, just so you know. Even though we're getting a late start, there will be a stream tomorrow and a stream on Friday. Also, I had plans for Friday evening, but they fell through. So now, BTT Inside Access was going to be on Thursday, but instead it'll be on Friday. So hopefully more people can join. So if you're a BTT Inside Access level member, that's the highest level. You can either upgrade or join today. But there will be a BTT Inside Access Q&A at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. So I picked that time so that the most people could hopefully participate. You know, it's still before midnight in Europe or around midnight, and then in the East Coast it's 6:30 East Coast, 3:30 West Coast. So hopefully a lot of you can come party with me on Friday night for just about half an hour. We have a good time. All right, Bubbles, I'm glad you're enjoying the tea. Hey, Alexander Valentine, thanks for joining. All right, so we have, thanks, Mika. Mika, I didn't see you at the Young Woman in the Sea screening. Hey, Aralysis. Okay, so we have 3 excellent stories to go over today. It's starting to feel like things are going good. I'm excited about it. You know, like things are picking up. So as always, please try to keep your comments and questions to the story at hand. At the end of each section, I'll open up, well, you can comment, of course, the whole time, but I'll more likely to interact with your comment or question at the end of each section. And then at the final 10 minutes of the stream, you can ask me anything that you would like. Thank you, 80s Model. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for your generosity. Again, one of the best ways to support this channel is to gift a membership, because you not only really help this channel out, it's been gotta tell you, you guys have really helped me during this slow time. But also someone else gets to benefit because they get the membership. If you would like a membership, make sure you have receive gifts turned on. Google how to do that. I'm glad you like the shirt, Haunted Autumn. Tis new. Tis a new shirt. All right, so let's get started. Story number 1. Boop. Of all the DC studio projects that walked into my bar, this is my favorite. This is the best one. I've said before, I'm like, where's the Green Lantern show? Because that to me seems the most unique and interesting. And it's coming. Now, this is the True Detective style take on the Green Lantern story, where Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart will be investigating some kind of crime together. Because, you know, the Lanterns are, you know, police of certain sectors of space. You know, we're going to see them investigate one of their cases. Now, James Gunn, I think he did both good and bad here. I really love the people that he picked, which we're going to discuss. But boy, did he fumble this announcement. So this is a huge announcement. So how does James Gunn talk about it? Well, he makes the announcement on his Instagram account. on the holiday weekend. A couple of trades picked it up and ran the story like on Saturday, but you're like, what the heck? I mean, it was just ridiculous that he decided to, I know that James Gunn feels that he's like, oh, I'm talking to the fans directly. But you know what does the fans the best, serves them the best? If, the projects do well. So I don't understand why this wasn't announced like on a weekday when everybody was, paying attention. That's right, Mika. Maybe he thought it was going to leak, but who cares if it leaks? I just don't think this was effective. He could have put it through. He could have done an interview with a trade. He could have let these people do an interview with a trade. But of course, James Gunn still wants to, be the center. But that's fine. I mean, if he's going to do as good a job as this, I don't know if how much he's involved. But hey-o, this is an excellent writing team. I can't believe how good this writing team is. I've never seen James Gunn put anything together this well. And, okay, we'll talk about it a little bit more after we talk about who exactly is on the writing team. So as you can see, the big headline is that Damon Lindelof is involved. Now, some people might be like, oh, what? Didn't he do Lost, which fell apart at the end? He was also the guy behind the Watchmen HBO show, which was incredible. So I feel very good about his choice here. So you're like, excellent. Very, very strong choice. But it gets better. Who else? This dude, Chris Mundy. You've never heard of him, but you've heard of the show. Look at the Ozark sign behind him. He is the showrunner who took over Ozark once Bill DeKirk left. I don't know why. Bill Dubuque. Whatever, Dubuquain, whatever his name was. Maybe if he'd stayed on the Ozark show, we'd know his name better. But yeah, Ozark. What a great choice. So this guy, Chris Mundy, ended up taking over and was showrunner through the end. And I thought that show was really strong all the way through the end. So I'm like, wow. And then another person, Mr. Tom King. Oh, this is fascinating. So for those of you who are not aware, Tom King is a comic book writer who wrote some great stuff out of the gate. He wrote a Vision series, which was instantly iconic. Everybody was like, who the heck is this guy? He's a genius. And then he got all the way up to being put on the Batman title. But then he totally ruined his career to some degree. I mean, he's clearly doing okay. But he made a lot of enemies in fandom when he decided to have Batman and Catwoman get married. Had us lead up to the wedding for like months and months and months. And then just at the last minute, of course, Catwoman bailed. So everybody was like, what? Everybody was pretty upset. Now, I'll still buy anything with Tom King's name on it because I think he has good ideas, and when he's good, he's really good. But I gotta tell you, I gotta sit through a lot of crap when he's writing. I mean, DC Comics itself even had Harley Quinn make fun of him in a recent comic saying, don't worry, this isn't written by Tom King. It's not gonna have 9 panels of dialogue. I mean, he's kind of like the intellectual version of Brian Michael Bendis. He overwrites. He's one of those writers where you'll turn the page and it's just a sea of dialogue. And you're like, oh, God, this is a visual medium, man. But that's right, Haunted Autumn. Hell hath no fury like a comic fan scorned. That's true. And that's right, Danny. He also wrote Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, an incredible comic. And he's on the, James Gunn's DC board of awesomeness, like the writers who are overseeing the whole thing. But so is Christina Hudson. So as soon as you feel good about getting that, you find yourself sitting next to Christina Hudson, and you go, uh-oh, wait a minute. Is this a crappy board of DC? But yeah, I agree with 80's model. It's good that he's on a team of writers because they can tone down the Tom King aspects that make everybody kind of like get a little nervous when he's involved. I think he still has good ideas. Like he's currently writing Wonder Woman, and I gotta tell you, I think that the Wonder Woman has its moments. But at the other points, I mean, if you read the current Wonder Woman title, I think it is a perfect example of Tom King. Also, Tom King gets huge assists from having some of the greatest artwork ever. I mean, he just gets incredible artists to team up with. And that helps him, I think, substantially. I think he has really good ideas. I like some of his dialogue quite a bit. But I think he has really bad habits, which because he's now so successful and he's already a name, he's not getting over them. Nobody's willing to point it out. He was also supposed to do the Dark Side, the whole movie with Ava DuVernay. They were going to work together and do something like the Big Barda stuff, and that fell through. And Ava DuVernay did not get a call back, but Tom King did. But his Mr. Miracle was incredible, which featured Barda, and his Vision. I mean, he's a very talented. He has the New Gods, right? Yeah, I mean, he's talented, but he just has very bad habits. This is a very big deal, though, to see a comic book writer writing a television show. As I recently discussed on my X-Men video, just because you can write one form of entertainment doesn't mean you can write other forms of entertainment. It is a specific skill set to be able to write comics, just as it is to write TV and movies. So, I mean, I think TV is probably closer to comics than a movie would be because it's episodic, just like, there are issues of a comic. But, again, he's not the sole writer, so you can feel a little bit better about it. But it's just, I think it is encouraging that a comic book writer broke through. The only other person I've seen break through is Scott Snyder. None of his stuff has been released, but he is writing on the writing team for some of the adaptations of his solo, independent work that's upcoming. So that's pretty exciting. Oh yeah, Jeff Johns, Doc Hayes. I don't know if Jeff Johns, I guess Jeff Johns does count, but Jeff Johns did such an absolutely awful job and almost destroyed DC itself. I mean, he's not potentially done. So if James Gunn can just lose Jeff Johns' phone number and contact information, that would help out tremendously. Now, this is an extremely strong group of writers. I can't believe how good it is. And I think one of the most interesting and exciting things about it is that it doesn't feel like the style of James Gunn at all. He actually put on just his producer hat and hired the talent that matches the material. I can't believe it. We thought he never could do it, but he did it. It's exciting. It's like the fan element of the early days of Kevin Feige, where suddenly you're not stuck with James Gunn just trying to slap his own name on everything and collect all the paychecks. But, it's just that James Gunn loves this stuff as much as we do. And, he's able to, deliver something that feels unique. And I think if he has different levels like this in DC, it'll be better for him. Because, again, we just don't want it to all seem like his material because he has a very specific tone. Connor wants to clarify that Jeff Johns is a good writer, terrible businessman. That's true. Jeff Johns is a very good writer, but he's not only a horrible businessman, but he's like a psychopath. All right, so anyway. Adam Sphere, that's a good question. Adam Sphere wants to know if Damon Lindelof is the showrunner. I'm not sure who the showrunner is. James Gunn didn't specify. Of course, Damon Lindelof and Chris Mundy both have showrunning experience, and you could have more than one showrunner. I can't imagine either of them doing it without being showrunner, so hopefully maybe they both are. But yeah, I mean, the only hurdle left is the casting. He'll have to stick the casting on this project, and if he can make it match these writers this well, I mean, I'm just very excited about this. It continues, thank goodness, to be the project that James Gunn announced that I'm the most excited about. I do wonder if maybe it was a wake-up call for him how poorly the Superman suit was received. What should have been a slam dunk was lampooned the internet over. Even by James Gunn's strongest supporters, I feel they were like, meh. Oh, thank you, Sadie Creekwood. So I hope that was a wake-up call that he doesn't have a blank check, that he has to prove himself, especially in a different space. Because I think we all felt that, like it or even if you liked it, that his Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, was very much like his Guardians of the Galaxy. Kevin says, this show has been in development for 50 years now. How much longer do we have to wait? Well, if they're writing it, they said they already did the Bible and the outline, and so now they're hiring more writers to write the episodes themselves, which is standard. Although some shows, of course, it would be written just by one person or these three, but they're hiring a writer's room. So hopefully that goes well. But that means they'll be casting pretty soon. Hi, Wildflower. By the way, that's a good question, J.A. This is going to be on Max, not HBO. This is a Max show, but that's okay. Max has some good shows in the past and the present, so I'm okay with it. So if you have any questions or comments about this, please let me know. That's this, and then we're going to move on to the next story. I don't care, Bear says maybe that's why he's made this announcement in such a low-key way, just in case it didn't go well. I don't know. I think it's a bad announcement. Let's see here. That's right. For all of you who are saying Hacks, Hacks is an incredible show, and it's better than ever actually with season 3. Chandler Crumlin says this story sounds like the newest Lantern Sojourner Joe Mullen story based by. I haven't read that comic, but that's not what they're doing. I mean, I'm sure other Lanterns will maybe show up. Antonio says, "Do you think it will have a lot of actions?" I think it'll have some action. I think it'll have a lot of Green Lantern constructs, but I think that it's going to be, it's still a Max show. I mean, I think it's going to be a mystery before it's an action show, which is fine with me. I'm very excited about it, especially with these writers. Like, maybe I would have been concerned before, but I think that these writers are so strong that it pretty much, I think, to me, makes me feel not at all worried. J. Jonah Jameson would rather have a movie. You're never happy, J. Jonah Jameson. All right. That's right, Danny. Animated shows will be canon in Gunn's universe. That's correct. Just another guy named Harry says, that's a great name, says this show could help Max inherit the mantle from the CW's Arrowverse. No, clean break. Let's do a poll. You guys love the polls. We didn't have a clear-cut poll. Now we have one. Should Gunn's DC TV shows be build on the CW? No, inherit the CW mantle. Yes, a lot of fans. A lot of CW DC fans. No, kill it with fire. And then, doesn't matter to me. Okay. By the way, anyone who's watching can vote in a poll. Only members can comment, but anybody can vote in the poll. If you're watching, you just have to click on the poll and you can cast your vote. No, this isn't an animated show, Ricardo. I think Danny was just asking. This is a live action show. It's going to be fantastic. 80s model, I imagine that Nathan Fillion, who loves to work, will probably cameo or maybe even be a supporting character on this show. Nathan Fillion, in fact, just wrote him in, he was a supporting character in this DC comic that had, I forget the name of it, but it had ice in it from, Fire and Ice. I gotta tell you, it was pretty good. Like all Tom King things, it fell apart in the end. But I would think for a while there it was excellent. But since Tom King wrote Guy Gardner, I wonder if maybe they're like, yes, Guy Gardner, let's put him in here. Oh, hey, Danny. Or Danny, however you pronounce it. Rashad, stop trying to put Ryan Reynolds in here. No, we don't want to do that. All right. Okay, I'm going to close the poll, and then we'll move on to the next story. I'll just give you another moment to vote. Do 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 do. Little voting music. Do 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 do. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm closing it. Okay, the vast majority of you agree with me, with 70% of you saying no, kill it with fire. 21% of you don't care, and then 8% of you are fans of the CW stuff. I'm sorry. That's gotta hurt a little bit there. But the CW thing had its time. For a while there, for a few, more than a brief moment, it was quite good. Even I watched some of the shows. But I think that its time has passed. So I think it's time for something that's a little bit more cinematic. I would love it to be HBO style quality. I mean, that would be great. Okay, let's go on to the next story of the day. Story number 2. Boop. Oh, no. Oh, it's good. I didn't cover a P-Man. Okay. Here we go again. They're trying to do Masters of the Universe yet again. I think it's funny that Noah Centineo was originally going to play the role when I think Netflix was going to do a live action version, and now a very similar type of star, Nicholas Galitzine, will be playing the role instead. I'll just say up front, I think he's excellently cast. Like, wow, really, really well cast. I don't know if for theaters, but I think he's very good. Okay, yes, as Tyler Rod said, everybody wanted Zac Efron. When pictures leaked of Zac Efron filming The Iron Claw with this build and this hair, everybody said, that's He-Man. And he does look exactly like He-Man. But I think they're going clearly for a younger version of the character, like Hollywood for some reason always likes to do. Yeah, Zac Efron looks exactly like He-Man. Also, I saw some people saying Lord Farquaad from Shrek, which is also, as Aided Buffalo just said, that is also the correct answer. Very versatile look. But yeah, so Zac Efron, if you're wondering, is Nicholas Galitzine going to look like this? I don't think so. I think that Nicholas Galitzine is going to look, I think he's going to work out, but I don't think he's going to get this big. And I think he'll probably dye his hair blonde, but I don't think that he's going to have the bob. I think that Nicholas Galitzine is going to bring this franchise into the current era. I think this is not going to be so much a nostalgia play. Hey, Fabian. I mean, I think that's what the Kevin Smith series built on. And, I think, it was what it was. All right, so let's talk about this project. So this is from Amazon MGM. They're setting it for a theatrical release next year in 2025. They better film this quickly. I don't know if it'll have LGBT aspects, Rashad, but it'll have LGBT vibes for sure, because, of course, Nicholas Galitzine is so popular with that audience now due to several high-profile projects that have succeeded quite a bit and helped get him this role. All right, so this is also being a co-production with Mattel in their post-Barbie life, and we'll see if it goes as well. I think Nicholas Galitzine is so well cast. I know some of you think it's going to flop, but to me this seems so well cast, I think it could be really big. I think it could maybe be, maybe not Barbie level big, but I think this could be big. Now the director is, the only person I'm worried about is that the director is Travis Knight, this guy right here. As you can see, he directed Bumblebee. He, of course, is Phil Knight's son. Phil Knight, the guy who started Nike. And he took his vast fortune, gave his son some money, and his son started Leica, which, of course, was the stop-motion animation studio that was extremely popular. Then Travis Knight decided he wanted to move to live action, got Bumblebee. And, I agree with Kay Walton. He's a solid director, but my concern is that I think he's a little bit too family-friendly. Or prestige. I need someone who's going to understand that they have Nicholas Galitzine. That is like, although the same way, I don't know if maybe Travis Knight was involved in this casting. And if so, that would be incredible, that he definitely put his business hat on. All right, so the plot details, now Amazon is saying the plot details are under wraps because they probably saw everybody react to the ridiculous story description from before and said, let's change it. Because, of course, as I told you, it was something to do about Prince Adam being on a different planet. You want to poll the casting, Nikki? All right, let's do the casting while I do the story. We'll do the poll. What do you think of Galitzine as He-Man? Amazing casting. Barf. Okay, there's really just two choices. Oh, I guess there's a third one. I don't care about this movie. And I guess there's another one. Hold on. I need to see him in costume. That's fair. Okay. Again, anybody who's watching can vote in a poll. You don't have to be a member to vote in the poll. If your eyes can see the poll, you can click on it and vote on it. All right, so we'll see what they decide to do with the storyline and with his look. Again, as I said, I think they'll dye his hair blonde, but I think that he will. I think that he will have a shorter look. I think it'll probably trying to be more modern because they want him to look attractive. And I think that he'll certainly be taking his shirt off a lot, but I don't think he'll get too much bigger than he probably is now. They haven't cast Skeletor yet, Dolan. You know, it's interesting. Who will be the rest of the cast? That's very interesting. And I think that could really make or break the project. But I think with Nicholas Galitzine involved, I think they'll be able to get better people in those roles. I'm telling you, the LGBT community, if they do it right, will be very supportive of this film now. And that could really help this movie, particularly on social media. So I think this was a really great choice because Nicholas Galitzine, he did come out and say that he was actually straight, even though he has played a number of iconic LGBT roles already. He, for instance, is one half of the romantic couple in Red, White, and Royal Blue, which was a huge hit on Amazon, and they're going to make a sequel. He's doing Mary and George, which some of you have already brought up, which plays on Stars here in the United States. Then, of course, Amazon is building themselves a star here because Red, White, and Blue, Royal Blue, as I said, was their project. Just like Millie Bobby Brown is Netflix's star. So Amazon, I first saw him in Cinderella with Camilla Cabello, and I thought he was fantastic in that. I thought he did a great job as Prince Charming. He's also, of course, currently starring in not just Mary and George, but also The Idea of You, that movie with Anne Hathaway, which a lot of people paid attention to as well. And then he also co-starred in Purple Hearts on Netflix, which was remember that was a huge hit with Sophia Carson? Like that came out of nowhere and everybody was like, what's this movie? And it was at the top of the charts for like weeks. That was Nicholas Galitzine as well. This guy really is popular. But my question is, can he sell a ticket in a movie theater? They might have picked a streaming star. I think that if this was going to be on, oh, that's right, also Kyle Selby, he was also in Bottoms. He wasn't a lead, though, but he was in the Bottoms movie as well, which, of course, also was very, big with the LGBT community. Rodney, I liked that Cinderella movie. I still listen to the soundtrack. But anyway, I do feel like if this was going to stream, if Masters of the Universe was going to stream on Amazon, then I think Nicholas Galitzine would do an even better job. And I think people will certainly go crazy over the trailer and clips of the film, etc. But would they go and pay to see it in a theater? That I'm not sure about. Ivan, he would have been an amazing Johnny Storm, Nicholas Galitzine. He would have really helped that movie. Although, I don't know, there's stuff that could be said. But I think people would make the connection. Okay, so anyway, very sexy. All right, so anyway, let me see how the poll's going here. All right, just give it another moment. Okay, let me close the poll. And then while you guys ask your questions, I actually have another poll for you. All right, so hold on. All right, so what do you think if this guy is in He-Man? 37% of you need to see him in costume. 34% of you don't care about the movie. But that's pretty good because that means like around 65% of you do care, so that's pretty good. 17% of you think it's amazing casting. That's pretty low. So he's got a lot of fans to win over. But then only 9% of you think it's barf. So that's good. All right, so I have one other poll I want to ask you. How faithful does the He-Man costume need to be? Gotta have the blonde bob. Gotta have the huge muscles. Gotta wear the fur underpants. And then all three, baby. Okay. Anyone can vote in a poll once again. All right, I like that, Will R. It's faithful-ish. You can tell who it is. Ivan, I was going to if before the He-Man story broke, I was going to cover the Knives Out cast. Maybe we'll discuss it tomorrow or Friday, as it trickles in. Let's see here. Tomas says it has to be extremely true to the toy. But how many people today are familiar with the toy? I think that's a potential problem. Danny, we have to see how this does before we can get She-Ra. Britt says, will this be a comedy? Seems camp. I think it has to have some comedic elements just because of the very nature of the story. I mean, I wouldn't turn it into a full-on comedy, but I think, you know, it definitely has to have comedic elements. Because, I mean, look at He-Man. Also, the transformation from Prince Adam to He-Man when he holds up the sword and says, "I have the power." Hey, CM, that's got to be really cool. The famous Kiki votes for no underpants. That's pretty funny, Kiki. That's very funny. Slow-mo says, what about the tan? Zac Efron really does look like He-Man. And he would be perfectly willing to wear the fur underwear. All right, I'm going to close the poll, and then we'll move on to the third story. Hold on. Okay. All right, how faithful does the He-Man costume need to be? 46% of you feel he needs all three. He's got to have the muscles, the underpants, and the blonde bob. That's almost 50%. Then huge muscles is the next. You got to have them at 34%. 10% feel the underpants are the most important, and 8% only feel it's the hair. So you're willing to move a little bit on the hair, but I think it seems like pretty much everything else you feel pretty strongly about. Let's see here. Dallin says, as someone who has a weird love for the original He-Man movie, I hope the movie balances the campy and the earnest energy like Thor Ragnarok. Oh, that's an interesting comparison. Thor Ragnarok is an excellent comparison for He-Man. Grace, who would you want to play Skeletor? I'd have to think about it. I would need someone who was very funny. That is the most important. And who can do the voice, the nasally voice. Matthew Agostini says it should be space swords and sorcery. Dancing Dog 60, I don't know where your super chat is. Hold on, let me go see if I can find it. Hey, welcome back, CM. Okay. Slightly nervous because Masters of the Universe bombed in theaters in the 80s when the cartoon was popular. I don't know if the second time would be so lucky. Well, the first movie was very silly, and you know, I think that the fans didn't really care for the first movie. So I think that was one of the things that hurt it. Dre Films, John Mulaney, I don't think he could get big enough to be Skeletor. Also, he doesn't have, Skeletor's a kinky guy, you know? I mean, you need someone like that. They have a lot of roles to cast. Oh, Bill Hader is Skeletor, Tyler Rod. That's an excellent casting choice. I like Bill Hader a lot. He's an excellent choice in the role. I mean, he's also very small physically, but he has a lot of height, and I think he's got the darkness to him that would really perfectly work with Skeletor. Bill Hader is excellent. I don't know if Bill Hader would do this, though. Bill Hader really was able to kind of turn himself. David Tennant is also a good choice, Mika. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Bill Hader, David Tennant. David Tennant would be excellent as well. And David Tennant maybe would do it. I like those two choices. I don't know how they're going to do all the characters. I mean, this could get pretty silly. You know, Man-at-Arms, it's crazy stuff. I don't know if Stephen Owsley said, what about John Cena? Well, John Cena could have played an older He-Man, but I don't think he has the snark for Skeletor. All right. Any other questions or comments? That's funny, says I don't care, Bear. Says, some of these people clearly do not know the character of Skeletor. But that's the problem, you know? I mean, there's nothing to honor. That's funny, Ilya. A lot of red shirts. We'll see who they get. They have a lot of roles to cast. You know, I think Teela will be really important. Skeletor and Teela are going to be really big. Aided Buffalo said, Anne Hathaway for Skeletor. That's mean, but she would be a very good Evil Lynn, actually, to be honest with you. All right. Brandon says, I just hope it's a little LGBT. I think it will be, Brandon. I don't think you have to worry about that. I think based on this casting, I think they know what they're doing, and I think that it is the right decision. It's a very smart decision. I'm surprised at how smart it is. All right, remember how much the LGBT community helped She-Ra, by the way. Really helped the She-Ra show. Okay, the animated one. All right, story number 3. Boom, baby. Okay, so Chris Hemsworth already kind of played Skeletor in Furiosa, so he can't do that again. But he actually was a little bit like Skeletor. All right, Tom Cruise. Glenn Powell has been giving Tom Cruise so much publicity, although I don't really know if it's working out so well for either one of them. So Glenn Powell, first off, I'm like, dude, maybe you don't want to be so friendly with a Scientologist. And he's like, no, I think he feels he's the new Tom Cruise. He's trying to put that out there, although he did say himself, there's only one Tom Cruise. Wink, wink, but I'm still going to bring him up all the time. And I was talking again to my friend about this, and we both agreed that Glenn Powell was the new Matthew McConaughey, who I think Glenn Powell has also spoken to. He speaks to a lot of people. He's very high. He's like at a 15. I'm like, I need you to be at an 11, Glenn. 15's kind of high. But anyway, he's saying, the other day, or even today, earlier today, I saw a headline where they said Glenn Powell has watched a 5-hour or 6-hour video about Tom Cruise, everything Tom Cruise learned about the movie business, because Tom Cruise is such a great businessman. And at first you're like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise does have a lot of business. He does have a lot of business sense. He produces a lot of his own projects. However, when you hear about what's going on with the latest Mission Impossible movie, well, it seems that maybe, Tom Cruise has lost the script. Because it's been said, let's look at the box office budget for these movies, okay? So I have it up here. Hello, I'm right here. Okay, so, hold on, let me make it a little bigger so you can read it. Sorry, I'm right here. Hello. Okay, so, where's my arrow? So the last Mission Impossible cost $290 million because of the strikes causing a delay and them having to basically shoot it twice. So it cost $290 million, yet as you can see, was one of the lowest grossing in the franchise. Oh my God. I can turn it. Excellent. A disaster, an absolute disaster. It hasn't been that low, since the J.J. Abrams day, okay? So Paramount lost a considerable amount of money on this movie. But now it's being reported that because now there are even more delays, I guess maybe they're reshooting stuff too because the last movie didn't do well, this new movie is going to cost $400 million to make. So that's going to be the budget before advertising for a movie that's the second half of a story that nobody watched the first half for. I mean, what an absolute disaster. All right, so you can see the box office here. All right, hold on. You can see that Mission Impossible Fallout, an incredible film, made almost $800 million. And, that was when the franchise was at its strongest, and everybody felt really good about it. But, it really stumbled with the last entry, which unfortunately was a 2-parter. Even if you take off part 2, it's still part 2, because the first half of the story did not finish. This one is not shot in space, Leo. That's a different movie that Tom Cruise plans to make. But anyway, the rumor is that Paramount was so ticked off about how expensive the last one was that's why when Tom Cruise signed a deal with Zazie over at Warner Brothers, they were like, that's okay, you can have him. They're still working together a little bit, but I think some of the bloom has come off the rose of Tom Cruise for Paramount. So some of you are saying, how does Paramount allow this? Tyler Rod said, why would Paramount allow this? And Mika, that's a good point. Paramount has also, unfortunately, allowed the Gladiator 2 budget. Gladiator! Elizabeth Taylor, that's how she announced it winning Best Picture. So that's always how I think about the movie now. But anyway, that budget has ballooned to be substantial. Josh Loves Movies points out that that's at $300 million because Ridley Scott is just going crazy. I think the reason this happens is that you get, very big stars in front of and behind the camera, and you let them go and they make their movie, and they just start to go out of control. And suddenly, Paramount starts to get nervous that if they don't let them spend more money, then the money they've already spent will be wasted. So I think that's what happens. You get to this situation where you're like, oh my God, it's so out of control, but if I don't do these extra scenes, the project's going to then not do well, and then it will certainly not make any money. So they're like, at the very least, maybe these could be $1 billion. They could, if they're really good, they could potentially be $1 billion pictures. Although a Mission Impossible movie has never made $1 billion. Top Gun Maverick did for Paramount with Tom Cruise, but that's a different franchise. But Gladiator could potentially, you think maybe these movies will make $1 billion. Maybe they'll make more than $1 billion. Barbie made more than $1 billion, right? So I think they feel, hey, if the movie makes that much money. Although I have to say, when you have a $400 million budget and you have to add advertising on top of all that, even if it made $1 billion, it would still just break even, which is just insane. But I think that's how it happens. Mr. Magic says this will be the last Mission Impossible. Well, if it doesn't do well, it will certainly be the last Mission Impossible for Tom Cruise. I think they'll probably take a break. I don't know if he owns it himself or if he's doing it through Paramount. But I think they'd be like, we're not making any for a while. MM92 says, hi, Grace. If you were publicity for the new Mission Impossible film, how would you recommend it be advertised to get more people to see it if they didn't see the first one? I guess I would just focus on the stunts. But that's what they always do. That's what they did on this one. But I guess I'd be like, oh, you can't not see this stunt scene. How about this one? But and they have a couple of new cast members. I guess I'd try to make it seem as much like a new movie as possible. But I do think this is a big, it's a black eye for the film. Because I think it already makes people feel like, wow, what a turkey, just because of the budget situation. John Thrasher says, why are the studios greenlighting $200 million budgets still? This is not a newly greenlit film. That's part of the issue. But I think, this was supposed to be done a long time ago, but, it was just delayed and delayed. You're still having people fall away from the strikes, still the fallout from that. Dancing Dog 60 says, Macquarie said the cruise has a huge stunt plan for this one. My guess is that it may be causing the budget to inflate, something underwater. Well, no stunt is worth this amount of money. Because, again, you'll never be able to make your money back pretty much in the theater, particularly because of the fact that these movies have never made $1 billion. That's interesting that Carrie says in the last movie there was not enough of the team and too much Tom Cruise. Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson better freaking come back. Stardust says, hey, Grace, how much fun do you have watching movies? I love watching movies. That's what I do for a living. I absolutely love it. Hey, Heinz E Adventures. I'm glad you were able to make the stream so we could say hi to you. I know that you've been having an issue making the lives. Leon says they will recoup their money through digital sales. Hopefully. But if it keeps getting this, that was when the budget was at $290. I know all of you are saying she's dead, but I feel it's a Mission Impossible movie. Anything could happen. Samuel Delgadillo says, does Tom Cruise need a conservative hook to get $1 billion, like the military angle did for Top Gun? I think that helped. I think the military angle definitely helped. I think I was watching Gladiator again over the weekend, and that had a military angle. I think that is very effective. Top Gun Maverick was a 4-quadrant movie. Top Gun Maverick was inventing quadrants that didn't even exist. It had extremely broad appeal. It was very well constructed. That's a movie, when I was watching it at the press screening, I knew that it was going to be a big hit. You just knew, because it was just such an incredible experience. Whelm says, it seems as if making $1 billion Mission Impossible film with a reason. Oh, that's funny. Whelm says this seems like a Mission Impossible. Zunigator, I also want Henry Cavill back. I feel he could have had an evil twin brother or a good twin brother. Obachina says, I don't think it's doomed yet for Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. Paramount cannot afford to lose Tom Cruise, even if it means to spend more to keep him happy. I think they felt that way at some point, but I think they never imagined that it would get to having to spend this much to keep him happy. John Thrasher says, do you think studios will start knocking budgets down to adjust for box office trends? I hope so. I don't think that you should have any movie be over 200 million, and ideally at around 150. I mean, it would have to be very visually effects filled and a very sequel to a very successful movie. To me, I mean, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has so much visual effects in it. I mean, they had to animate all the apes, and that was made for like 165. Care Bear says, forget about break even. Has any Mission Impossible film even turned 400 million in profit? Well, probably not theatrically. Maybe when you add up all of the revenue from the past streams. Michael Masset. I know you told me how to pronounce your name, but thank you for the memberships. I think it's McKennis, I think that's what it was, McKennis. Hey, Jander, I'm glad you made it. I'm sorry you're late, but I'm glad you were able to make it. All right. Lander says, what do you think is lacking for Mission Impossible to get to $1 billion? I think that's a fascinating question, because Tom Cruise was able to get to $1 billion with Top Gun Maverick. I think it's like I think Mission Impossible movies have a little bit of an intellectualism to them. Although Joey points out lack of diversity, which also could potentially be an issue. And Kay Walton says younger cast members. Those are all very good points. That's interesting. Yeah, I think it has a classic quality to it, which is what some people like. I think that last one did extremely well because Henry Cavill was in it. But Tom Cruise, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be willing to admit that to himself. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the Q&A. All right. So it's 3:51 until 4:01. You can ask me anything that you would like. Danny says, hi, Grace. Do you think that you will get all the episodes to review House of the Dragon or only a part of them? I'm not sure, Danny. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the screeners. For that, it's a little early. I think only people who've done the junket have gotten the House of the Dragon screeners so far. But I know that for last season, they gave me only a couple of episodes, and then, then I would get the screeners week of. Yes, Rodney, I have all the episodes of The Boys, and I've watched the entire season 4. But I'm under embargo to review it until June 11th. CM says, Ella Purnell is Lara Croft for Prime. You said she already has Fallout when I asked before, but Pedro Pascal has The Mandalorian, The Last of Us, and Fantastic Four. Well, yes, that's true, CM. However, The Mandalorian and The Last of Us are two different studios. And I think Pedro Pascal has, stepped away from The Mandalorian, where he really only does the voice work now, which freed him up to be able to do The Last of Us and Fantastic Four. So I think, like Ella Purnell, because she's on camera and is a lead for Fallout, it would slow down the filming of Lara Croft. Glenn Close for Knives Out 3. They're still getting a strong cast. I'm excited to discuss that later this week. Jeff Blue, I'm very excited for a very busy June. I can't wait. Mika says, how do you plan to handle coverage next month with The Boys, How to Train Your Dragon, The Acolyte, and The Bear? Well, The Bear is a binge drop, so I will just review that as a binge, with the review, and then we'll see how the review does, and then maybe a spoiler review. But as for The Boys, How to Train Your Dragon, and The Acolyte, I will review those shows, and then I'm planning to do weekly breakdowns. Diego says, what advice do you have for someone starting to create content? You are so, I'm glad you like my videos, Diego. I think it's important to have an authentic voice. I think that's really crucial. Jacob says, hi, Grace. Any thoughts on the casting for the new Knives Out movie? We'll talk about that maybe in tomorrow or Friday's stream, Jacob. Michael McKenna says, Messinas? Maybe it's Messinas? Message me, Michael. All right. Thoughts on the Bear Season 3 trailer releasing today? Looks good without giving anything away. I stopped watching it after about 20, 30 seconds because I was like, I just want to watch the show. I don't need to see anything else. Steven with a V says, why do they even greenlight? Oh, by the way, the Umbrella Academy teaser came out today, and not a single person talked about it. I forgot about it until just now. I haven't even seen it. Steven with the V says, why do they even greenlight? I think they maybe didn't release it because I didn't even get a press release from Netflix about it. So good call on their part. Steven with the V says, why do they even greenlight $200 million plus movies when there's been clear evidence they don't need to be that expensive? I think if there's a big budget, I think if they have a lot of visual effects and big name actors, that's how the budget very quickly can go up that high. For a while there, these movies were making $1 billion consistently. And so I think, they felt better. I think that's the reason that these budgets got to where they are now. Dakota, I have not gotten the Bear screeners just yet. I just was talking with FX. It's way too early, but I just wanted to get on their radar. Uber sends us, hi Grace, what are your thoughts about Captain America 4's reshoots? Much love from Marseille, France. Oh, bonjour. Whatever they need to do to make that movie successful, I'm in favor of. I really want it to do well. Let's see here. That's right, Galitzine. I've seen the entire season of The Boys, season 4. I can't say anything I can't even review it until the 11th. Sadie Creekwood says, what's the review embargo for The Acolyte? I have not found out yet, but I would imagine that it will be like the previous Disney Plus shows, and going based on, well, let's see. Previous Disney Plus shows have had the review embargo lately lift when the show drops. Let's see here. John Thrasher says, okay, you're a Universal executive reading the next Jurassic World script pitches. What story are you greenlighting a $200 million budget for? One that has lots of velociraptors in it. Woohoo. Let's see here. Jonathan says, higher first week, Moana 2 or Wicked? I think they're going to be really neck and neck. And as some of you have been pointing out, they have like the same audience. So I think they're going to end up hurting each other instead of being counter-programming. Did I say How to Train Your Dragon? Oh, I meant House of the Dragon. That's funny. My bad. All right, so Dream says, hi, Grace. What are some non-DC Marvel comic book properties you think would make great films? I'm not sure about a film, but I've long believed that Saga or Fables would be amazing series, and it's frustrating to me that they have not been made into series. Although things are going really poorly with Fables. I was so happy it was back, but the creator of it got into a really big fight with DC again, and he basically said anyone could tell a Fable story. He was putting it out into public domain. It was just a disaster. All right. Big Witch says, Grace, what do you think it will take for CGI artists to form a union? I'm not sure. I think the reason they aren't doing that right now is because there's so many people being fired right now in the industry that I think nobody wants to make any waves, which is unfortunate because this would be the time it would be great to have a union. Devin Henderson says, rereading the new X-Men with Surge, Mercury, Hellion, etc. Did you ever read that run? I'm loving it and hoping to see some cameos in future X-Men 97 episodes. I think I'm familiar with those, but I haven't read them recently. Let's see here. Nikki Andrews says, you're going to be seeing Moana 2. You could see both of them Thanksgiving weekend. It's a lot of days. Steve says, hi, Grace. Have you heard anything about Paradise Lost? And when do you think we will see Wonder Woman in the DCU? I haven't heard anything about Paradise Lost. I think it's going to be a while before you see Wonder Woman because Gal Gadot was so well cast when she was good. And I think also she's very vocal. I think if James Gunn's smart, he'll just stay away from that for now. Ramses, oh, it's your birthday tomorrow, Ramses? Ain't got any plans, to be honest. Got any fun ideas? Oh, Ramses, well, I don't know. I don't know if you're rocking it solo on your birthday or if you'll be with people. I think it's always fun to go to a movie. I think that's a great idea. Particularly a matinee is a lot of fun. I would think about what kind of food you really like, You could, get something fun to eat and to watch something at home. Just go places you really like that you're a big fan of. You could go bowling, all kinds of activities, mini golf, just be out and about. I think about places that you really like to be. You know, if there's a big mall near you, it's fun to walk around and just be around other people if you're by yourself that day. I think those are all hopefully. I hope that helps you out with your birthday, Ramses. Let's see here. Travis Parker Lee says, "Hey Grace, do you know the projections for Inside Out 2, and are you planning to see a screener soon?" It's a little early. It's a little early for screenings for that. But I think the projections are anywhere from 80 to 100. And with, of course, everybody hoping that it's going to be 100. Oh, Joey, I'm so glad you liked Blood of Zeus Season 2. It was great, right? Any other recommendations? If you haven't seen Blue Eye Samurai, I highly recommend that as well. That's also on Netflix. Dan says, I had a Fall Guy and Furiosa marathon and they were incredible. Also, my move to Orlando is this Friday. Oh, you're going to be moving right to Disney World. Get an annual pass, Dan. Let us live through you. Let's see here. Joaquin, I just heard the Venom trailer is next. I don't know. Don't get me in trouble. Okay. Rodney, I'm seeing Bad Boys 4 on Monday night, and the embargo lifts Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. CM says, how can James Cameron's Avatar, expand beyond the core film series? Adult animated series, perhaps? You know, I actually would not expand it. It makes so much money as it is. I don't think you want it to be overexposed. I think they should just stick to movies every once in a while, and then everybody just goes, oh, wow, I didn't think he could top the last one, but somehow he did. And then we just do that every couple of years. Rohan also recommends Blue Eye Samurai. I don't know if Will Smith's going to make a comeback, Britt, but we're going to find out really, really soon. Okay, it's 4:01. Let me just say hello to everybody. What are you doing? What are you up to? Let me say hi. What's going on? Oh, Ricardo, I will review Eric tomorrow. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to review it yet, but I shall review it tomorrow. Tillman is working from home. Well, Andrew's playing Fortnite. And Trace is once again saving Earthrealm from Outworld in Mortal Kombat. You're welcome, world. Thank you for saving us, Trace. Let's see here. Steve Quintanilla is working hard at home. You're learning stuff. I hope, Steve. Jose Garcia is making fried ice cream and listening to me. That sounds great. Let's see here. Danny is starting his shift in Guatemala. Always great to see you, Danny. Haunted Autumns is searching for jobs to get out of Minnesota. Well, you know, I'm glad you know what you want. You're going for it. Hey, in Panama there, Jamie Isaac Choi. Well, Daniel C. is working from the office, and Nina Fair is working from home. Newswriter22 says, meeting my latest deadline and watching a big thunderstorm. Ooh, that sounds very, very atmospheric. Linzik says, it's raining in Washington, D.C., but I'm still going to go to a bar trivia tonight. Thanks for the stream. My pleasure, and good for you. Don't get sick, but good luck with the trivia. Break a leg. Oh, look, Zunigator says, last day at my current job and excited for your new one on Monday. Hype indeed. Hype, hype, hype. That's great. Well, Dane O'Leary is building a website for a client in North Virginia, getting my BTT stream fix. I'm so happy to be keeping you company while you do that. Oh, hey, Lisa. Where did that go? Lisa says at home working, and school in Baraboo, Wisconsin. You're building a better life for yourself, Lisa. You're a hero. You're a rock star. Let's see here. Big Witch says, shopping for food for my 2 kitties. Aw, meow. Brandon Ferretti is also working from home, but about to go on a run. That's awesome. Take care of yourself. Oh, CM says, bad storms in Dallas yesterday, so in a hotel because no electricity at home. Oh, no. But I hope you're living it up. I hope you're living your best hotel life. Kyle Selby says, on the elliptical, my favorite machine, listening to my favorite YouTuber. Oh yeah, on her favorite workout machine. I loves it. Ricardo Sanchez says, hi from Brian and Ricardo. We'll catch up on Britain's Got Talent after this. And Aubrey says, in the Arizona heat. Be careful, Aubrey. I read a very bad story this morning, in fact. I think it was this morning or yesterday, about how horrible the heat wave is in Arizona. Billy Baby Bobby says, watching Hunger Games and loving it. Oh, I'm glad you're having a good time. And Stephen Owsley, so nice to see you. He says, hi from Los Angeles. House sitting and applying for jobs. Moved from Michigan the day after Christmas, and it's been a tough transition, but I love it here. Actor life. Good for you, Stephen. It is very difficult to be an actor, but, you know, people love it, and that's what fuels them. And I'm glad you're living the dream. Good for you. Just getting to Los Angeles is a big part of it. Sabian is about to give himself a haircut. Oh, good luck, Sabian. You're brave. I used to try and cut my own hair, and I always messed up. Let's see here. Diego says, in LA having a honey and peanut butter sandwich. Oh, but I love that. You're like, it's so good. That's excellent. Michael is stuck in a drive-through line at Panera. Caprese sandwich and lemonade, baby. I do love Panera. That's not my order. My order at Panera is I like one of the salads, the one that's like the Cobb salad, I think, or something. It's got an egg in it. And then I also like their cream of chicken wild rice soup is good. I like that. Some of their sandwiches. They changed their Cinnabons, though. Not good. Okay. They have a lot of iced tea, though, which I appreciate. Hey, Harry, we're going out to look for a new dog for your birthday. We'll see how it goes. Oh, where's your wonder dog? Like from If. Oh, that's so funny. What a gift. Oh, your dog will always be so special to you because you got him for your birthday. And then Lander is in Costa Rica, currently finishing lunch. Oh, excellent. Oh, Aneka likes the You Pick 2 at Panera. That is a good one. I like that. I like the smaller salad. Smaller sandwich, half it up, baby. Oh, look, Nintendard also likes honey and peanut butter. You guys are blowing my mind with this. I'm not a big peanut butter fan, actually. I like Reese's peanut butter cups, and that's it. All right, everybody. I had a wonderful time talking to you, as always, and I shall see you tomorrow for tomorrow's, there'll be videos going up tomorrow, but there will also be a live stream as well. And don't forget that BTT Inside Access is 6:30 p.m. on Friday, Eastern Standard Time. All right, everybody, bye. Bye-bye. Oh, bye in Pittsburgh, John. Bye-bye.